so, it's like that everything is planned.
Yeah. It actually gives me like, like weird. I was felt so weird, like, how it ended.
अभी मेरे दिमाग में जा रहा है महबूबा महबूबा महबूबा. Hi, welcome to All Things Movies. Today we are talking about Gehraiyaan that released on the 10th of Feb on Amazon Prime Video. And it's such a big, conversation starter these days. Have you watched Gehraiyaan? How did you like it? So we thought we will get together on All Things Movies and talk about it. How did you all like Gehraiyaan? Let's just start there and take it from there. कैसा लगा?
I was not even going to watch it, like I literally wasn't going to watch it because watching the trailers, I felt that it's more like it involves cheating, and like I'm not I don't like such movies in general. It like the concept only. It might be like, it might be a positive movie or something, whatever, but generally I don't like it. So I wasn't going to watch it like until a friend of mine, she invited me over to watch Gehraiyaan specifically. So I'm like, अच्छा ठीक है, like I was like, अच्छा ठीक है, घर से निकलना हो जाएगा. I'll just like, I'll make a plan and go watch. But when I watched it, like it totally wasn't what I thought it would be. Like not at all. Like literally, like I was very surprised. So like my first like thought would be like I wasn't expecting it to be what it was. So yeah, I like the movie in general. I enjoyed it. It was very gripping from the beginning till the very end. Like I never lost interest.
It was like Kank 2.0 from the trailers, but it was so not like Kank.
Yeah.
To actually watch it, right? Yeah. What about you, Shreya? Did you like it?
Yeah, I really liked it. So I was also not, I wasn't sure I would watch it. I had left it to how people think it is, because, I want my movies to be extremely curated. I'll only watch those movies which people around me who I trust say is a good movie. So when the both of you said it was a good movie, then I thought, let me watch it. That's when I quickly watched it, like yesterday night. And it was so good. I mean, so of course from Kank, it's very different in the sense that the characters are all very grey. I thought the 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 characterizations were very good, and of course very gripping. We had to take a break of half an hour in between when we were watching it to put Abhi to sleep, and I was thinking about the movie while I was putting him to sleep and thinking about returning and and what would happen. And yeah, the movie kind of changed personalities during the movie, right? So I remember, and you guys, it's no spoilers, so you guys will know that at a point, Ankit said, "Oh, is that what's gonna happen?" And I said that it's not that kind of a movie. No, that I don't think that's gonna happen. But then, that's what started happening. So the movie also has many different, shades and layers. So yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, it is. So I was watching another review of where Tried and Refused Productions that I align with on everything. And he was like, ये शकुन बत्रा movie होते होते अब्बास मस्तान का turn ले लिया. It was exactly that, But yeah, overall, I really like the movie. Though I really like the movie. I was always gonna watch it because I watch all movies. I think that come all new movies. At least I try to watch. Like I started watching Loop Lapeta also, and it was so bad that I stopped. So I at least give a movie a shot. So this one I really like the casting. I think, and we'll come to that. Maybe Siddhant Chaturvedi ka character. I don't know if they didn't prepare us for it. So I don't know if it was intentional or I don't know. It's a deep character. We'll talk about it later. Lekin otherwise, the casting was very good. I liked Deepika, of course. I mean, Deepika was like the main person in the movie, right? Siddhant Chaturvedi was good, also so good looking. I mean, he generally is quite attractive. Ananya Pandey, no, you don't like him?
Your internet, like
Ananya Pandey also I liked. She was playing herself in some ways. Uh, right? And people are really making fun of her on the internet that she has finally proved herself of doing something that she's not, a privileged rich girl.
People are just so mean to Ananya Pandey. I don't get it. I mean, Ria, I don't think you like her.
But yeah, I really like the casting. I really like the tempo of the movie. I was watching it with Neil. At some point, Neil thought it was very dragged out in terms of the beachwala part, the story. But I thought it was the right amount of time given to each part. And the
which
music,
part was
the two
dragged out?
music I really liked. Huh?
Which part did you think was dragged out? Like
The
which?
relationship part, like between Siddhant Chaturvedi and Deepika Padukone, when they do become, yeah. Uh, so of course, वो तो trailer में दिखा दिया था, but that part was a bit prolonged. But I think that was for a reason.
Hmm.
Uh,
I mean, like casting also. I didn't talk about casting, but like I really okay, character wise, so basically Siddhant Chaturvedi also like I like it's okay when they were cheating also like how they got involved. I was like, yeah, it's understandable because looking at the situations, so that felt okay. Okay, after that, like how it went on, I was actually kind of rooting for them. I'm like, okay, not bad. Like, yeah, I understand. Bichara, he's going through so much and blah 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 and stuff like that. But everything turned out to be like, his character turned out to be quite negative towards the end, of course. But then you still, till a certain point, you still sympathized, also sympathize. You like it's quite realistic because if one has to choose going to the jail or like or like or love or whatever, of course, like what would they choose? So he was doing everything for himself, and even in the beginning, like it was established that he's a kind of like a selfish character. They established that, so he was doing everything for himself, which is like it's not right, of course, but like it's
yeah.
understandable also, like as a character, because that's a human nature. But until a point, the boat scene, you're like, okay,
But pata
you
hai, in hindsight, when you now put things together and you think about what Tia's mother kept telling her that ye to, he's taking advantage, and that one scene, now we're talking spoilers, so I might as well. वो जब
yeah.
then he imagines that he's going to push Tia in the water. मतलब एक criminal mind था उसका. That was something that he would do. And ये जो
Ah, that
Rajat
one.
Kapoor hai, he says, I can take care of her. Maybe together they used to do these kind of things. They didn't spend so much time on it, but it was something normal for them. Itna karodo mein in loka business tha. They probably thought it was okay to do. And she was just another person. Sadly, that part wasn't clear that she became just another person he could just sacrifice for his own good.
Like you know what when Anna Pandey wala scene hua, when like that scene where he pushed her off the boat or something, I was actually like what just happened, but of course it wasn't real and all of that. But yeah, you were right, I never thought of it that he had that kind of matlab mentality, like just disposing of people, sort of like at least back in the back of the mind, or like it was like shayad growing or something, like ideas and
ऑपर्चुनिस्ट एक ऑपर्चुनिस्ट जीन था उस सब में होता है लेकिन आई थिंक उसमें थोड़ा ज्यादा था मोर honed and practiced पता नहीं it seemed like that
So that is a less dark interpretation, I think, which is that he already had that tendency to dispose of, that he had done it in the past or something. But what I liked about the movie also was that there were lots of sub themes. I felt so there was some sort of theme of making different choices, right? They kept talking about it, making different choices, but in many ways Deepika Padukone actually made the same choices that her mom made, exactly the same choice. She actually fell in love with a sort of committed man, and that man happened to be of the same family, mother and daughter, for the both of them. So that that being one. Then the other I thought was this whole thing of, you know, people being selfish, and that is fine, but it is a slippery slope, or it could be a slippery slope, like and so I was also able to relate to everything he did. You know, relate, I mean, in his position I wouldn't do, you know, maybe even 20% of what he did, but I could understand that for a person like him, where he comes from, what his personality is, these things seem like okay, these things don't seem out of character, basically. So they had done that very well. But the point where he decided to bump her off, that point, you know, it can either be taken as he already had those tendencies, or it can be taken as, you know, it is, you know, it is easy to, you know, once you've started going down that road, it's easy to kind of, you know, go keep going, because the stakes kind of start becoming higher and higher. At that point he was, you know, risking going to jail, losing everything that he had worked for. And maybe in some warped way he could justify to himself that getting rid of this one person would make everything fine. And I also liked how they portrayed that end mate, that when he was trying to mix that, he was not somebody who was comfortable with it even till the end. He was very up, you know, he was still distraught. He kept kissing her on the forehead, and he inside also he was still, you know, in a bad way, thinking, I mean, okay, none of it condones that he actually did try after that, but it shows that, I mean, maybe normal people walking amongst us, you know, if the stakes become high enough, and you know, then, you know, things can go and take that turn. And history has shown us that, you know, perfectly good people in good times become, you know, lethal and dangerous when the right opportunity
Muskan Ego, there
presents.
were two things that he did. Ek to in his job, in his company, there was some sort of a criminal setup that he was doing. Right, he was trying to increase the valuation of his company when it wasn't that. तो एक दिखा देता है कि वहां पे भी था इसका that tendency to win. He would do anything. The second thing is he was the one who started flirting with Deepika Padukone. Like he was the one who initiated it.
Oh, but you know, I feel there that Deepika actually in some way took the first step, because she asked him that uncomfortable question, are you flirting with me?
But he
Didn't she
was,
ask?
but he was flirting with.
But honestly, whatever it was, honestly, like till that time when okay, what I was feeling at that moment, forgetting what happened ahead. At
Mm.
that moment, I just saw how their like partners treated them, which I thought that, okay, they were not kind of happy. For example, like how the guy treated Deepika Padukone, it was quite bad. Okay, like, and
You know,
also,
one thing that I noticed, I'll just add one point to this and then
huh,
you complete,
huh,
is on infidelity. You know, we keep talking about emotional infidelity after hearing these guys talk about it on Coffee with Karan. Like I got introduced to emotional infidelity as a term when Alia Bhatt spoke about it on Coffee with Karan. Uske pehle, I had no concept of it. I was like, what the hell is emotional fidelity or emotional infidelity? I mean, infidelity is infidelity, right? But you know that scene, जब वो Karan जो है does not share his draft with her,
yeah,
and he
yeah,
got Tia to read it. That was
yeah,
so bad. Like it,
very.
you know, it made me so angry from within. Ki this is also infidelity.
But
Like you
I didn't
cannot, huh?
I
You
didn't
didn't
think
think.
it was. No, I didn't. In fact, I thought in their relationship, I didn't think it was so bad. Like, I felt they were people who had very different ideas of how they want to live. And actually, you can also say that Deepika was being very nagging. I mean, he wanted, he had taken a break of 4 months, okay? And in 4 months, he had to write a book. Ab nahi hota is, you can't turn on a tap like that. He was right. And she used to nag him every day. And when, you know, and okay, I get it also that this kind of pressure will happen, so I get both their, you know, perspectives. But the thing sometimes is that you don't want to share it with the person whose opinion you know, value the most, or you don't want to share what you've created with a person who's, you know, who you know is reading it from a very from a very narrow lens. Ki, will publishers like it or not like it? You want a more, say, a person who you have an easier relationship with, and you can take that. So if Deepika had criticized him, it would have become like a very nasty thing, because
He
it would
should
have
have
then gone
told
into.
her.
But
But he should
but
have
the thing
told
is,
her.
yeah, I think
But
the issue was not just like doing all of that. I think it was also the fact that he used to hide all of that. Like for example, like just like okay,
Going
for
to that
example,
beach house and working from there.
yeah,
Like she found out
yeah, and
right
then like
before he was about to leave.
yeah. And when he, even if she
uh,
was near her books or something, like acting like, okay, why are you touching it? Why are you doing that? It's kind of weird, okay? Like, it's the making her feel like, okay, that's different, but like all of this kind of adds to it because it's like, not even letting her touch, like getting like
yeah.
put off by that. That was like, and the way he acted about it, and also like hiding things, like I said in the beginning, like. Okay, it's okay that he did that, like he asked Ananya, like Tia, whoever, like to read her his draft or whatever, but like she got to know this from somebody else. The thing is that I think it had like that's the difference. So it's okay, like it's totally understandable how that he wouldn't want her to read it, but then the thing is like
He
hiding and
wasn't clean about it. He wasn't honest
yeah,
about any of this. They didn't have that
I would
dialogue
say,
at all.
yeah, so I would say that their relationship was terrible. I mean, it was at a
mm,
very bad place. Their relationship
yeah,
was bad. That cannot be contested. I mean, the way that they responded to each other. But I would hold both of them responsible for it. She also nagged him a lot. Yeah. She also wasn't giving him space. She also constantly kept telling him that I do so much. I am the one who's paying the bills. I'm, those things are also not, that's a lot of pressure to put on somebody who's, already struggling. And it's not that it was 4 years. It's not like it had been 4 years since he had left his job. It had been 4 months or something similar. So I mean, she had a role to play in that worsening of the equation. And
yeah,
I get her perspective also. She wanted to lead a better life, so maybe their aspirations didn't match in that sense.
And
yeah,
she
totally.
had a
It
lot
must
of
be.
angst about her childhood and the changing of their
Yeah,
fortunes. So she wanted
yeah,
her old fortune back in some way,
yeah,
which
yeah.
manifested in the kind of things she would tell him, right? And he had seen her from childhood. So वो understanding भी नहीं था. Like I think Tia और Karan के बीच में वो understanding था. They spend more time together in the US or whatever it is, but they sort of got each other. These two didn't get each other. But the point I was trying to make was Deepika did not cheat cheat on him until she cheated on him like real bad. She did not
Yeah.
cheat on him. She had expectations, which is bad. She shouldn't have nagged, but she wasn't unfair. Yeah, she wasn't
Yeah. So
lying.
Yeah, but on emotional
Too
infidelity, I'll just
honest.
say that, a
She was too
betrayal
honest with
can be
everything.
but
a
like going,
betrayal can. Hmm.
yeah, it's it's like going back to the same point, like about like the flirting thing, like what you're talking about. So basically what I feel is that at that point, like the conversation that I at that point, like thinking, not knowing what lies ahead, I didn't think that it was something wrong, and I could understand why they are doing what they're doing, because at that point of time, I didn't really be like, because I thought that I'd be totally against it or something. But when they were even flirting with each other, when they were even like gonna make a move at each other, move on each other, like even at that time, I didn't really feel that it's wrong, or I didn't feel like ki arey kya ho raha hai and stuff, because I could understand, because they show the backstory of like how his Tia talks about like how he has everything because of her, and like and all of that, which of course would hurt anybody's ego. And here Deepika was going through something, even if it's like from both ways, but still her relationship wasn't that great. And honestly, like keep like I don't know, I don't from my perspective, I felt bad more like for Deepika, because I could only see how he was treating her, especially during that trip. So yeah, so at that stage, I felt it was only natural.
Hey,
Like
wow.
I didn't.
Good.
like मेरे को exactly मुझे लगा अच्छा ठीक है लोग deserve करते हैं like उसके जो भी है जो भी हो रहा है वो, but like as it kept on going, yeah, and yeah, okay, so जैसे ही like when we reached a point, after a point then I started seeing Siddhant's true colors, and then I see Karan, I'm like यार उससे अच्छा तो Karan ही था तो yeah, जितना like starting में
less ambition, apna, doing something on the side, sahi tha.
yeah,
Now,
exactly.
let's close the thought on emotional infidelity and then move on with the story. So, Shreya, what were you saying about emotional infidelity?
I was saying that emotional infidelity, I completely believe the concept, matlab, that it exists and it can happen. But in this case, it was a betrayal, I thought, what happened there of a relationship. But I felt it was different from emotional infidelity in that situation, because emotional infidelity is when you actually, you want to be with another person. You feel, I mean, romantically, right? So these guys, even though they were very close friends and that was demonstrated many times, they never thought about each other romantically. So Ananya ko you replace with any other friend of the same sex, say say had Ananya been a guy friend, okay, and that would still have been a betrayal, because Deepika had been asking for that to read for a very long time, and he gave it to, say, another close friend of his. But it wouldn't have been emotional infidelity, right? So I'm just saying that there's a difference there.
At that point, Deepika wouldn't know that, right? Like, when she was already seeing them as really close,
Maybe,
and then
yeah,
something
from
like this
her
happens.
perspective. Yeah, maybe from her perspective, yes.
The thing I thought, so Ria, to your point about Tia treating him bad, did she actually treat him bad? Her mother did.
Yeah, so I don't feel that she treated him bad, but like but like no, I wouldn't say treating bad, but like of course making somebody feel less about themselves. It was kind of like that, because like no matter he also like grew from like he spoke about his background history and everything. So whatever, no matter उसने कुछ भी करके wherever he has reached, but making it like coming down to the small thing कि whatever he has achieved is like sort of like because of her or her dad. It is kind of like it would hurt anybody's ego or like feeling. So it is kind of it's not like she did something or something, but like saying a few things also would make somebody feel less about themselves.
And
Yeah.
Molo bhi
No, I
close nahi
completely
tha.
agree.
They were also not close. She would not tell him anything about her chacha and all that. Like she would try and hush that topic. So they were just, I mean, together. I think it was the good thing, good timing or whatever.
Hmm. Basically like they set a base जहाँ पे we could actually feel that जो हो रहा है to not think about it negatively, or else like
Yeah.
starting से would have been like oh my god, like what if we would have seen a loving couple on एक कोई भी side में, we wouldn't have been that interested. We were able to watch it yeah.
In Kank, Preeti Zinta and Shah Rukh Khan's relationship wasn't good. If I
Hmm.
remember, it's been a while since I watched that movie. But they used to keep fighting because he had broken his leg and
Yeah.
she was really
Yeah.
okay.
Hmm.
But Abhishek and Rani had no problem. They were like ekdami a good couple. There were no issues on the surface, at least, other than the hangover that she had of Shah Rukh Khan, I guess.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
This is
I
this is
get it.
more realistic, I suppose. I mean, people who cheat, they cheat because they are not happy. Most
Hmm.
often, I mean, or I don't know actually. Sometimes people just are assholes also. But
Yeah.
yeah, in this case, yeah, it was at least it led up to it in a. But to that other point on her treating him badly, actually completely agree with Ria, because I feel like in a relationship you have the duty to defend your partner, and protect them from from your family. You have that, and that sadly that it needs to be done quite often. And the same thing can happen if from if the man doesn't step up when his parents are bad mouthing his wife or partner. Even the girl has the same responsibility to step up when her parents are not treating the guy she's with respect, which her mother never did. and she just went along with it, thinking that it wouldn't matter. So that
You know what?
definitely
I would
wasn't.
stop doing video calls with the audio on speaker when he was around. I mean,
Yeah.
your mother's not saying good things about him. Stop making him listen to all this rubbish. Just put your earphones.
I was shocked when she said that, why don't you just decide and just tell him the dates?
Yeah, I
And
know, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he was like कि इतना dad ने इतना कुछ किया है इतना तो इसने again she got some that angle. I'm like, oh my god. Yeah.
and then to that, Ananya turned around and said, "Oh, you're not winning this one." That's what she said to
Yeah.
her fiance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
That
what?
was
Like after a point, like okay, like totally again, like moving ahead, like this as per the storyline, I genuinely thought that he liked Deepika. You know how everything built up. I think that's why that I like this thing like about the movie that they built up. Like it was that gripping because we never at a point we thought that okay, what's happening is like I don't know, like. Something we cannot watch or something because after a point I actually thought that he likes Deepika and he made me believe that he liked Deepika, so I was
Yeah.
betrayed.
think about an alternative ending, right? Jab, let's say that guy had not been caught, the banker guy or whatever, and their business was not in the doldrums. In 6 months, would Siddhant Chaturvedi have left? Yeah,
I think
perhaps
he
he
would
would
have
have.
left.
He would
He would
Yeah,
have.
have.
because
He
he
would,
did tell his partner, na, that Jitesh, that they were preparing the money to return to
To
her,
pay
and
back.
he
yeah,
had told her. So.
yeah. So
He would
I
have.
well, it was,
And even when she got pregnant and she tells him, he does not like say, oh no, not at all, blah, blah. He says, I mean, the timing is not right, but would love it in the future. So that also
yeah,
seemed like a genuinely reasonable
yeah,
thing to say to
yeah.
somebody you love also.
Yeah, it was very situational, that's why I didn't really at a, like until jab tak wo both scene nahi hua tab tak I really didn't feel like even I could understand how much pressure he must be going through, so it
Yeah.
was you could understand, like it's not like you support him, like because
Mm.
of course he could have talked it out, even though like whatever he could have done, whatever it is, but I never once thought like I did think about वो करे तो करे क्या like करे क्या, like if he has to go to the jail if he
Yeah.
doesn't do this, like of course, like it's no matter how selfless you are, you will do something about if it's about like
Yeah.
you not being there only, how will he support like anybody then or something, so
And
it's
they
kind of
kept Deepika's character quite consistent there. She used to nag him also. Like
yeah,
she
so I
Yeah.
yeah I found it very annoying there, like yeah.
I was like, come
Seriously.
on, this is not a legit relationship. There are problems here. She is your cousin. He is stuck with her, and there are, maybe she didn't know the details of the whole money angle. But that part, if he had spoken to her about already, then she was acting quite unreasonable by just
Yeah.
showing up there and fighting with him. Otherwise, maybe it would have worked a little bit differently. They would have planned together instead of him taking this.
I think, yeah, they would have planned to some extent together. But I mean, I think she was a little more moral than he was, or maybe a lot more moral as it turned out than he was. But some aspects of, even before that, the murderous intent was revealed, some aspects otherwise also were a little concerning, that how easy he found it to, what do you say, dupe Ananya. I mean, in, like he was at the verge of breaking up with her, and okay, so sorry. So how how easily, like he just, the moment she said, "Can I help you? Can I help you and I'll do anything? Can I help you and I'll do anything?" He just turned around and kissed her. I mean,
Yeah.
very, very manipulative. Like,
Yeah.
if they had shown some struggle, internal struggle, he had thought about it and then decided. But it's like
Yeah.
it didn't
You know
It
take
was
what,
that much.
also very
and that
clever when,
yeah.
sorry, you go.
Yeah. At that point, I actually thought that, okay, ठीक है, maybe he's that desperate. Okay, so is he that desperate? But starting with desperation laga. But when he continued doing that, it became like manipulation. It's like, oh my God, he's so good. Even I would have been convinced the way he was saying, like, do you not trust me? Do you not believe me? And all of that. How can you? I was like, oh my God, the way he was saying would have been played easily.
Pura emotional blackmailing. And
Yeah.
that part where he changes the phone numbers, he's actually quite chalu. He's shown to be quite chalu. When he comes back into the car, अपने corner of the eye से देख लेता है कि इसका phone on है, and he takes action immediately. तो conniving तो वो था, and then Rajat Kapoor, तुम लोग क्या लगता है, where was the turning point in the in his intent? When did he cross that line to say, okay, we have to finish her?
When she was gonna maybe reveal it to Tia, and he knew कि तब तो jail जाना ही जाना है. It's kind of like that, because he knew if he loses Tia, that means that he's going to the jail, of course, because no money.
Yeah, but I think the seed of the thought came when Rajat Kapoor said that, should I take care of her? Do you want me to take?
शो की बात में वो लोग बहुत आर्ग्यू कर रहा है inside a car. You remember that scene? वो रजत कपूर, they are like very this, and उस समय basically that time I was thinking कि बॉम्बे में अच्छा है, कभी भी you can show बारिश. तो anyway, but that was the scene where they were like really fighting. I think Rajat Kapoor was convincing him, क्योंकि वो end में बोलता है Rajat Kapoor कि यहाँ पे उसे होना चाहिए था, तुम्हें नहीं, because he knew about the plan. He knew this was gonna happen.
Also WhatsApp chat me, this has to be done and everything and all. Oh my God, that moment, you know what? When all of that entire scene, when she saw the messages and the entire scene, how it played out, I was like, oh my God, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
It was definitely-
And
Yeah.
knowing the yoga teacher helped, she had strength. So she was, क्योंकि एक बार पहले भी दिखाता है when she's pushing against the door, she has a lot of core strength. वो सब निकल के आया in saving her life.
back
I mean,
problem
I
ऐसे
think,
भी था.
हाँ, उस back. So I was telling Neil that time कि she's going to take advantage of the weakness she knows in his back, and she's going to maybe use that. It didn't go that far, but I didn't think ours was a crime. It was self-defense. She had to do it.
Yeah,
The fact that
totally.
she didn't own up to it may be a crime, like, okay, she concealed it, but then she had to save herself.
Yeah, of course.
But
I
then,
mean, that part I was thinking about what I would do if I were in a position, and maybe I wouldn't have told people also, because the justice system doesn't work like that. People can,
exactly.
put you
Yeah.
in jail
Everything
forever
would
because
work against her if they would go into her chats and, their messages and conversations. Anyway, they were cheating on their respective partners at a point in time. Everything would work against her. And वो तो मर गया, so she would have to kind of face the music.
yeah, yeah,
And in some ways, एक divine vengeance लगा हमको. एक divine vengeance नहीं, but yeah, the beach house was hers actually. So she
yeah,
ended up, giving that up for what she did. That was her repentance.
yeah, yeah. Some kind of karma kind of
Yeah.
thing.
I did not expect the death, but now that I think about it, Kapoor and Sons maybe वो मार दिया था Rajat Kapoor
Yeah.
को. Have
And
you
that
ever
was shocking. All the
you
endings
watched
are quite
Kapoor and
like,
Sons, right?
I have, but I can't remember this. Was it
The
so
father
dark?
dies now in an accident.
car, it was
Car
raining,
accident.
car.
Rajat Kapoor really dies in that movie. So I'm like, the Shakun Batra continues his streak of killing people in his movies.
But it was nice, like thrill ke saath, like you actually don't expect, like until and unless like maybe 1 or 2 minutes pehle tak tumko lagega nahi ki it's something is gonna like. So I was
The one thing that I wanted to talk about is the feedback online. People are still criticizing the movie a lot. Malab, I understood why they were criticizing it after the trailer and after the promotions that were totally over the top. But I don't know why people are really hating on the movie right now. Have you all read that?
yeah. So like I read one thing like dull and boring and all of that.
Yeah.
I honestly, and a lot of people, even like on subtle curry traits and all of that. So many people are like, लोग तो
Yeah.
ना बोलते ही हैं and all of that. But people are really criticizing it, and I really don't understand. Like,
Mm.
at least it's not boring. Boring is the like
Yeah.
last kind
Yeah.
of
I didn't think it was boring. Or, people are saying I had such high expectations. I think it did better than expectation, at least for me, and for both of you
yeah.
also, clearly.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
It was
very.
not at all what they showed in the trailer. First of all, like it was like so much
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. Yeah. I
But
don't know why people are so
comparing
upset.
it to Kapoor and Sons, you can't. Like, Kapoor and Sons was a good movie. I think I liked it, but एकदम ही अलग है. It's a whole different set of relationships being tackled in this one. I don't think you can even compare them like for like.
Hmm.
Um, I thought this was a very Western take on relationships. This movie. So actually, I was saying about it. Would I recommend it to some of my non-Indian friends? And I actually would, because there's more relatability, and maybe urban India has this, okay, not the killing part, that I think is actually very Abbas Mastan, but the whole complexity of a relationship, your childhood really weighing down on your way of thinking, and always playing up behind you, is probably more Western than Indian movie making sensibility.
Movie, yeah, Western than Indian movie making, but it's very much Indian in terms of life, how it is today.
हाँ हाँ
So
मूवीज में
these
कहाँ
people,
दिखाते हैं, they don't show it in
uh,
movies as much.
yeah, they don't show it. And in what people are also criticizing their language, and I felt that was also very relatable. Yeah, people do use fuck a lot in how they speak, and especially जब tension वाला time आता है, then you know
I
you
didn't
use.
find anything like something like I didn't read the language thing, but if it is quite normal. I never once I felt like that it's out of place or like something like that.
A few scenes में I think I think between Rajat Kapoor and Siddhant Chaturvedi का एक scene था where they use fuck a lot, you fucking don't tell me what to do, blah blah blah, too many times. Okay, but I think when you're angry you do talk like that. I suppose there are people who talk like that. So
And when you're angry and talking very naturally, you don't care how many times you're using a word, right? You want to just get out the worst, word that you can think of, and maybe fucking, does the job there.
yeah. Just on that thread, I watched Rocket Boys. I think I told you all on Sony Live, which is set in the 1960s, 50s, 40s, around that time. Usme I found it weird because Usme also they use fuck a lot, and they use a lot of, yeah,
I'm getting, I think I guess.
the language there that they use in that show is pretty much like language today. They've made no effort into making that relatable to that time. So that I found a bit weird. Ki ye malab thoda off ho gaya. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that Homi Bhabha wasn't speaking like this. Jim Sarg maybe, but Homi Bhabha.
Oh, but the Parsi, they're trying to show the Parsi,
No,
maybe.
but even they show this one also. Vikram Sarabhai also speak like that in return. Those they won't speak like that, right?
So, one thing I wanted to talk about was Siddhant Chaturvedi's, his character's bluster in this movie. Like, he was such a talker, right? वो कोई भी, he was so good at making promises and talking big and making people believe in his, grand visions. That's also very interesting as a founder to me. कि, ultimately वो आदमी उसको झापड़ मार दिया, the one that they were trying. He was trying so hard to sell that thing too.
20.
But yeah, 80-20. But I feel like his confidence was off the charts. The fake it till you make it, that aspect of his personality was very strong.
That was very strong. Yes. And that, it reflected in his personal life also, I think.
Yeah.
He was just like that person who could convince anyone about anything. Other than the girl's mother, I guess, who he was never able to convince or buy.
Well, he never got to speak with her like directly, I guess, or else he would have. He was pretty. he was कितना quickly उसका mind चलता था ये सब चीज में, and instantly he used to like
Yeah.
कैसे
like
कॉन्ट्रैक्टर का नंबर बदल दिया, like he must
yeah
have it didn't show, but end में जब वो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर का कॉल आता है, बोलता है कॉल करो उसको, it's actually contractor. He changed somebody else's number to make it contractor, या करके रखा होगा, बहुत चालू चीज था वो. uh, yeah. अच्छा, the one thing I want to talk about before we close is the ending.
I was thinking about that. It was like kind of like a cliffhanger, literally.
How did you all interpret the end?
Like ending में like I was talking about the एकदम end वाला end, like
हाँ,
cliffhanger,
वही
like how
वही
वही वाला ना,
हाँ
like
हाँ
how
वही.
that
वो
woman
जो औरत
recognized
आती है, that woman comes and says, तुम
yeah
वो अलीशा हो ना.
yeah it's kind of like exactly how they were talking about, like being stuck in a loop and all of that. It kind of showed that they'll go back to square one and be again stuck in the loop. Basically they'll never change, maybe like the relationship will never change or something like that.
Like I saw it like, you can make a choice to leave your past, but your past never leaves you, will come back. If you've
Yeah,
done something,
yeah.
that comes back.
Yeah. These are such great theories from this, this movie. That's what I thought, that the movie had so many great concepts that,
Gehraiyaan
happening.
was so
Yeah.
gehra in all these concepts.
Gehraiyaan, exactly. I am quite disturbed by that ending, because I'm just imagining what would have happened after this, because
Yeah,
it's
I
not
know
just
that.
that there is. Huh?
I
Kya,
was
kya?
just saying, yeah. No, I just said I know, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, and
like they were about to start their new relationship, this Tia and Alicia. Oh, they had not been in touch for a few years, and they were now finally like, अच्छा ठीक है, अब शुरू करते हैं. Again, and तब तक वो औरत आ गई. When that couple came on the boat, उस समय हमको लग रहा था कि, like in my mind, कि कुछ तो इसका importance होगा, कि
yeah.
it's such a weird thing. And ये लोग भी उसको सब कुछ, ये मेरा fiance है, ये मेरी fiance है,
Yeah.
बोल दिया.
मेरे को तो लग
वही
रहा था कि मेरे को लग रहा था कनेक्शन ऐसे ही टाइप का होगा, बिकॉज इट्स अ बॉलीवुड मूवी, कि मैच मेकर टाइप का ये होगा, ओके इतने प्यारे लग रहे हैं साथ में, ओ सो क्यूट, एंड वैसा टाइप का कनेक्शन होगा कर दे. आई थॉट इट्स गोना लिमिट टिल देयर वेयर दे रियलाइज like yeah, just like I never thought that it's gonna lead like
I
very
thought,
they
I thought immediately they might know Tia and the family, and they will go and blow it off, or something. Of course, I didn't think कि end में ऐसा हो जाएगा.
I did think at that time that they'll come back somewhere, but I had forgotten about them by the time they came back. And the whole thing was so well crafted, because that woman at that time had said, "Mujhe to sab yaad rehta hai." Remember, that was the thing. And because her husband was forgetting, and that's what she came at the end, and she said, Alicia. She immediately remembered from
क्योंकि उसकी
2
बेटी का
years
भी
ago.
नाम है ना, their daughter's name is Alicia. So there's
Ah,
movement in it
yeah.
also.
That's another reason. Yeah. So the whole thing was so, it's like that everything is planned.
It actually gives me like like weird. I was felt so weird, like how it ended.
अभी मेरे
Like,
दिमाग में जा रहा है महबूबा महबूबा महबूबा. Yeah. Yeah, so what could have happened? That woman may have come and said, Ki, remember we met you and your fiance on the boat, and then
you don't
she'd be
remember?
like, no, no,
Did
no.
she change name?
Huh?
Did she know? Like, I was trying to remember, but I couldn't. If the guy also, like Zen also exchanged his name or something like that, like
Not his name, पता नहीं, याद नहीं. I think name बोला होगा, मैं Zain हूँ, ये अलीशा है, क्योंकि तभी तो
Yeah.
अलीशा अपना नाम बोली. But she may not remember Zain's name, I don't know, but she'll remember that she was on a yacht with a boyfriend, with a fiance, and she could not have been on the yacht with Karan, so then that just leave.
But that
but
is
since
still, okay, it's a little suspicious because of yacht and all, but that's still a better outcome than what I've been thinking. Ki she would remember Zen. And it's not just
yeah.
their relationship that gets spoiled. Also, this whole murder case opens up, I feel, because then though everything is up for, up to doubt, this girl might suspect that who was with him that evening or night or whatever. So
Yeah,
those
and
things.
then Nasiruddin Shah will come and say, are you in trouble? Nasiruddin Shah was good. he was good. उसको बहुत praise मिल रहा है online, but उसका role कितना कम
Yeah,
था, पता नहीं किस बात पे उसके.
yeah, ये सब मुझे पसंद नहीं है, पता है क्या? Like that's what I saw, like the best scene, Nasiruddin Shaka and all of that. Like
हाँ.
it's so stereotypical, like like people ka thoughts, like
Some veteran actor you picked, and then you're like, he was the
yeah,
best. He came for 5 minutes, but
exactly.
he was the best. And ये
Yeah,
पूरा
Yeah,
बेचारी दीपिका रगड़ी है पूरे मूवी में, उसको you're like, okay.
I
yeah,
feel
seriously.
the movie, how Deepika was and how the camera work was also, music, whatever, all uska, un logo ka sara stress, everything that they felt, I could feel also. Like
Yeah,
the stress Zayn was feeling, the
uh,
frustration Deepika was feeling after the thing happened, after he died, she was such, she was
yeah,
so, disheveled and in such a bad state. That also I could understand how you would be. So they've done a great job, all of these
yeah.
people.
Yeah,
Scared, she's scared, yet sad and like confused, everything, and you could feel it. Like
yeah.
I was tense, like I was getting nervous for the characters. I was thinking, okay, now what's gonna happen, and every move, and like so, yeah, definitely you feel that because they are acting well and the storyline is
Yeah.
good. So yeah, so the
Yeah.
fact that I could feel all of that means that the like yeah, it
And
was
Rajat Kapoor was good, okay, and he had more also to do. That is not a problem. Nasiruddin Shah ka to bahut hi kam role tha. He was good in
yeah.
whatever he did, but he didn't like steal the show or anything. For me, it was
Yeah.
Deepika, and then second was Siddhant Chaturvedi. I liked
Yeah,
Ananya
Siddhant,
also.
yeah. Siddhant was also good, but I feel Siddhant is, he's been born to, I mean, or rather, he's very good for such kind of roles where he has to play a little bit harami. But I
Mm.
don't know, because he looks like that, his face looks like that. So comes naturally to him. He looks a bit, at least to me. But whether he can play a different kind of role, then I don't know.
I think
Yeah.
he has very innocent eyes. I think he can. I think
So
actors can
those
do
memes
anything.
about Siddhant Chaturvedi and Ananya ka struggle wala meme, it's all coming back together. Did you
Yeah,
all see those?
yeah.
That's
It
one
was
of the
so
reasons I
bad.
think they would have been cast, because now, they know that there'll be interest around the two of their pairing because of that. I
Yeah.
think that thing would have played a role in this casting.
Good only
Mm.
for Siddhant, yaar. Siddhant abhi tak has done part harami roles only. He did that Gully Boy mein, in which, I mean, he wasn't like bad, but he was that,
I think he's good. He
he
was
was,
good. I love his
huh,
career.
But he
he,
was a lot of bluster and style and all that even there. Like,
Cool
they,
characters.
in that, I mean, his acting was so ekdam very, very good, but his character was malab grey only. He wasn't like some Seedha Sada. Then he did
Yeah,
that Bunty or Bubbly. Usme also he
yeah.
wasn't Seedha. So he
Mm.
hasn't
uh,
done. But have you all watched that one, the IPL wala show? Kya?
Inside Edge.
Inside
I
Edge mein
have.
he was Seedha. He was very
Uh,
Kanpur ka Seedha ladka, very, very shant.
but then maybe he's a good actor. The reason why I think he looks harami is because of his smile. I think his smile is like teda na. He's
Smirk.
teda.
He's like more smirking. Like the way he's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isko Karan ko they didn't give a lot. Karan was, Ravi Shastri in 83.
Yeah, I got to know yesterday only. I googled and कि कुछ हुआ is like उसका रोज दिखा रहे थे. Because I was curious. I heard that he was in some other movie as well. So I wanted to see if I watched any of them. Then I
हाँ.
see 83. The 83 में कौन सा रहा था? याद आ रहा था थोड़ा सा. Then I saw okay. I found him cute उसमें. I
He's
found like he was looking good.
Lambu. Lambu Ravi Shastri. He's so Lambu that they made him Ravi Shastri. I think they put some prosthetics in 83 perhaps for him. Yeah, he was like forgettable tha. He's meant to be forgettable, I think. Uska character
Yeah,
was that.
थोड़ा like yeah, laddu types बैठा
Like
हुआ.
any friend of yours, like a good friend in a friends group types, a
हाँ,
good male friend that.
हाँ, he was like that.
Yeah, but a sucky partner. I like the way he was talking also. I don't know. Starting especially in the beginning, if somebody talks to me like that, it's like oh please.
I also really liked everybody's no makeup looks. Malab, I don't know if they were really no makeup, but again, that made it very believable, this whole story. It was like, acha, theek hai, haan, this can happen around us. Even Tia, she was also, uska no makeup look dikh raha tha kafi, at least.
So when you said no makeup, did you mean like in those parts of the movie, or all through it was no makeup?
Through and through हमको लगा ज़्यादा नहीं था makeup.
Hmm. Yeah, very natural. Yeah, looks, I suppose, except
क्योंकि
for the
there's no
clothes that Deepika Padukone was wearing.
But Siddhant Chaturvedi was looking so good in the beginning, like especially vacation time में जैसे उसका entry हुआ and like all those clothes, floral clothes that he was wearing, it was like quite good.
His Hawaiian avatar was pretty awesome. Those loose big
Yeah.
shirts. Yeah. Also,
I
I
think I
mean,
don't like the way he looks.
very bold choice for Deepika. I mean, as much as there's no problem with exposing or doing these scenes, but it's great that she decided to do it. Because otherwise, she really protects her image. यार. She does these very, of course, off camera morally इतना ज़्यादा उसका ये रहता है high. Even her movies are
On
very
camera also, she's been doing roles of that kind only. On camera also,
yeah.
she's been doing very high, say, purpose-driven roles. So this
उसका
was
last क्या था? Chapak. Was that her last? हाँ. So very well done from that perspective. I can't imagine any other race. Maybe Priyanka Chopra, I would imagine doing something like this. Alia Bhatt right now probably won't do something like this
yeah.
to be protective of her image.
But yeah, like both the couple, Ranveer and Deepika, दोनों ने काफी अच्छा movies deliver किया है, like कभी उसका
Did
83
you all see
and
Ranveer's post?
Yeah. That is
oh my
also
god,
coming up.
yeah.
That
Too many
Sari Pre.
adjectives, first of all. Too many, like, like सब चीज जितना भी पढ़ा था शायद एक पोस्ट में डाल दिया. It's like चलो.
Yes, fearless best. But good words. I think that good words. He, I think, expressed himself. I mean, बहुत ही superlative form में he gave
He
his
confused
praise.
me also. उसका praise मेरे को confuse कर दिया कि what he is saying actually. What to say?
At that time, I was thinking whether she actually deserves that praise or whether he's just being his usual, exuberant self. Like in movie देखने के बाद, I feel like that, I'll give it to him. Maybe she does deserve that praise.
She's finally started.
For me, finally, because I've never thought Deepika Padukone is a great actress, and even in this one, now when she has long parts of dialogue, uska dialogue delivery, abhi bhi I feel is a little,
Bad.
weird. Yeah, a little
No, her
bad. But
expression, yeah.
yeah,
The way she expresses herself,
yeah.
like,
That she is aced. She knows how to show stress and angst well in even a period drama. So that she has really worked on. Dialogue delivery में थोड़ा time है, but I think she can't do it. It's a language barrier more than anything else. Like Siddhant Chaturvedi doesn't have that because his language in Hindi pe control is so good. Ananya and
You think
Deepika don't
that
have
thing,
that. Huh?
It's because of Hindi thing, huh?
I think it is because of Hindi.
yeah.
It's learned for Deepika and I don't know. Ananya के लिए क्या है? Ananya is more Bombay Hindi, more South
So
Juhu.
Ananya will always. Ananya, like I found that dialogue very nice when Deepika tells her thanks for this for surprise party mein, and she says, "Are you mad? Are you mad?" Like it's such a Bombay thing, right? I mean, you can't. It'll take a very good actress to learn it, and it'll take a very good actress for somebody who has it naturally to leave it.
To leave
So
it.
so that way Ananya's role was actually a good fit for her.
She was a good Juhu girl. She played a good Juhu girl. Good South Bombay. Good.
Yeah, so
Good. This was a great debrief of the movie. This is more a debrief than a review, but yeah, it was good and let's. Okay, bye.
okay. Bye.